am the IBM Technical Sales Executive in IBM Security, and today I'm going to be talking to you and presenting IBM Cloud Pak for Security that is going to help you mitigate threats faster than ever before. So I'm going to go through a brief presentation of what is Cloud Pak for Security and what are some of the new features that will help you mitigate a threat. So when we talk to our customers, they always say that there's too much to do, too many vendors, and too much complexity, and also too many alerts. So I'd like to use this chart, and I call it the wheel of pain for security analysts. So most customers have about 5 to 26 security tools that the security analyst has to navigate. Each has their own user ID, their own query language, and as they mitigate a threat, they have to jump between these tools, cut and paste, import, and export. And it's a very inefficient process. So there's got to be a better way when mitigating a threat, and that's where Cloud Pak for Security platform comes into play. It's a series of integrated modules that on one screen you can now mitigate a threat without having to enter the wheel of pain that I described earlier. You have to jump between those tools and cut and paste. And the beauty of Cloud Pak for Security is that it runs on a modern container framework, which will allow you to run the solution either on-premise, inside your company, or on a cloud provider like IBM or Amazon. So it runs where you want it to run. Let's now take a deeper insight and look into each of these modules and how it works. So we have a federated search engine called Data Explorer. We have a SOAR product, Security Orchestration Automation Response, called Case Manager. We have a user behavioral analytics that pulls in the from IBM's QRadar artificial intelligence to find out what the user is doing. We also have a threat investigator that will build attack graph and find how threats move through your company. Then we have a threat intelligence module that will help you automate what threat searching is all about. And finally, Risk Manager will look at your day-to-day activity to see if you are protected or not. And we do this by connecting to your existing security tools like your SIM tools in QRadar or Splunk. We will also connect to your line of business application logs on Amazon or Microsoft Azure. We will also connect to your endpoint protection tools like BigFix or Carbon Black. So our strategy really is, let's leave what you have in place and take advantage of your existing investments. But in this integration layer that I'm showing you, this common piece of glass, one user interface across all of them, and make your team far more productive. So let's go ahead and drill down into each of these modules now. So here's our federated search engine called Data Explorer. What this allows you to do now is I can query my SIM tools, EDR, and line of business application logs with one screen, one query, look for a hash, look for an IP address, look for a malicious URL, and then bring back the result sets from those back-end systems that you're connected to. So I can see the Amazon data right next to my IBM Guardium data protection data, right next to my SIM log information like QRadar or Splunk. Then that return is now on one screen. So it makes it far easier now for your SOC team to actually analyze a threat without jumping between those tools. Once you're now connected to all these systems with this powerful federated search engine, I can now feed Cloud Pak for Security Threat Intelligence Insights module with security feeds. So if you have a subscription to IBM X-Force Exchange, for example, or Alien Vault or Virus Total, I can now feed these indicators in from these subscription services and automatically look for these threats and will let you know if you are affected. Very powerful, again, to take the burden off the SOC analyst. So we look at user behavior analytics also. So if a user starts doing risky things like logging on from many different locations at one time across the world, we call that the impossible travel, or they're logging onto risky resources from outside a company, or from highly sensitive resources, we look at the user's behavior, and then we also bring that into Cloud Pak. So I can look for not just artifacts by searching from, but looking at what my users also are doing. If we find that threat, well, this is where the integrated SOAR product case management comes into play. What this will allow you to do is now when a threat is happening, a playbook in a case is actually created. And a playbook is a set of tasks and workflows that you need to do to mitigate that threat. We will now track all that stuff and integrate it in Cloud Pak for security. We also have our threat investigator tool. So when the case is created and we load in the artifacts that we found to see where we're affected, we'll automatically analyze all that data. We'll give you a timeline of what that threat was, link the different assets and how they're linked together. We'll automatically build what's called an attack graph that shows you how that threat laterally moved across your organization, where did it start, and where did it end. We also map investigations to the MITRE ATT&CK framework to automate alert investigation and drive faster, more consistent investigation. We provide recommendations based on past outcomes in your environment by leveraging Watson AI. Normally, this is a very manual process and have now automated it with Cloud Pak for security. So last but not least is our risk manager. This is the way that I look at your data. How protected is your customer record, your patient data, your employee data, that credit card data. We give you a report card and then let you know what some vulnerability we found that you can start shoring up or making it more protective. So again, it's our risk manager product. So let's take a step back and let's start talking a little bit about how this all works. So let's pretend you don't have Cloud Pak for security. You have those 5 to 26 security tools, and the CXO now goes to their team asking, have we been affected by the latest threat that just happened? Like SolarWinds when it came out of the new Microsoft Exchange threat. They normally go to their security team and go, hey, have we been affected? Well, the security team knows nothing about that threat. So they start the search for what the indicators to look for, right? File names, file hashes, URL, but less than 20% of this information is publicly accessible right when a threat is happening. Once they do finally figure out what to look for, they then enter that wheel of pain that I described earlier. They look into their cloud logs, they run some queries, they look at their SIM tools and their logs, they look at their EDR endpoint protection tools, they look at a data warehouse if they have it. These are a lot of manual create, lots of manual effort. It takes a lot of time. And then if they are affected, they have some sort of bolt-on case management system. They'll then have to import and cut and paste and then move all this data and these tools that they learn from the many back-end systems before they can even start to mitigate this. This is normally a 24 to 48 hours before they can even come back to the CXO and let them know have they been affected. So in the security world, that's an immense amount of time. But guess what? With Cloud Pak for security, now connecting to their existing systems, I now have the visibility from the single platform into all my data and what's happening. I can now detect, investigate, and rapidly respond using the new platform. So let me show you now how this picture would look with Cloud Pak for security. Again, CXO asked the same exact question. Have we been affected by this latest threat? The security team now looks at the threat intelligence insight, which automatically brought in, for example, all the X-Force data. And these are the latest indicators of compromise. And it's like having a couple hundred IBMers working for you looking for a threat, and it automatically looked across all the connected data sources, and in real time it said, are any of these indicators found? If it finds information, maybe in one log or 5 systems or 10 systems, it will automatically then create a case in the integrated store product and then add all those indicators of compromise and what it learned into that case. Apply a playbook and automatically start working that case by kicking off workflows and mitigating that. What used to take 24 to 48 hours is now done in minutes. So the scenario I described provided the SOC analyst the visibility across disparate systems, no matter where they were located, detected the threat, provided the investigative insights, and orchestrated an automated response to mitigate the threat. So in summary, open source technology is foundational to IBM Cloud Pak for security, and it is a platform that can deliver on connecting openly, connecting data, and connecting workflows by helping you more quickly integrate your existing security tools to generate that deeper insight into threats, orchestrate the actions, and automate the responses, all while leaving your data where it is. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I hope you found it insightful and look forward to talking to you about it in more detail.